Most women spend years waiting for a man to say, "I love you," when the truth is, he may have already told you he wants forever. You just didn't know how to hear it. Think about that for a second. You've been looking for the grand gesture, the bended knee, the dramatic declaration. You've been waiting for the moment, the one they write movies about. And while you were waiting for that, you missed something far more powerful. Something that doesn't come with fireworks. Something that comes quietly, in the middle of a Tuesday evening, in the way he speaks to you when he doesn't even realize he's revealing everything. If you've ever felt confused, if you've ever sat across from a man and thought, "I just don't know where this is going," this video is for you. Because today I'm going to show you 3 specific things a man says when he is genuinely, deeply thinking about a future with you. Not 3 grand speeches, not 3 declarations of love, 3 small, ordinary phrases that carry the weight of forever inside them. By the end of this video, you will never mishear a man again. You'll understand his language, not the language they teach you to listen for, but the real language men use when they're serious about someone. And once you understand it, everything changes. Here's the situation so many of you are living in right now. You've been seeing someone. Maybe it's been 3 months. Maybe it's been a year. He's kind to you. He makes you feel good when you're together. He texts back. He shows up. He makes you laugh in that specific way that makes you feel like the most interesting person in the room. And yet, you lie awake at night with this quiet ache, this low hum of uncertainty going, but does he actually see a future with me? You've been trying so hard to read the signals. You've analyzed his texts with your friends at midnight. You've scrolled back through your messages looking for clues. You've had the almost conversations, the ones where you nearly asked, nearly brought it up, but then pulled back because you didn't want to push him away, didn't want to seem needy, didn't want to ruin something that felt so good. And so you wait. And the waiting slowly starts to feel like its own kind of loneliness. Here's what nobody tells you. Most men are not going to hand you a roadmap to their feelings. Men, particularly the emotionally intelligent, grounded, good ones, don't make dramatic speeches in the early stages of something real. They don't usually sit you down and say, "I want you to know I'm thinking about forever." Instead, they show it. They reveal it. It leaks out in the ordinary moments, in the way they speak, in the specific words they use when they're not performing love, when they're just living it. The problem isn't that he's not communicating. The problem is that nobody ever taught you to listen at that frequency. That changes right now. I want you to pay close attention to a single 2-letter word. And I promise you, once you start noticing it, you will never be able to unnotice it. The word is we. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's a word, not 3 words. Bear with me. Because we're talking about 3 specific types of language, 3 specific verbal signals. And the first one is when a man starts naturally, unconsciously replacing I with we. Here's why this is so significant. When a man is genuinely uncertain about the future of a relationship, when part of him is still keeping his options open, still figuring out if he's all in, his language reflects that uncertainty. He talks in the singular. I'm thinking about going to Portugal next summer. I want to eventually buy a place outside the city. I've been thinking about changing careers. He keeps the future to himself because in his mind, the future is still his. But when that shifts, when he starts picturing you in his future in a real and concrete way, his language shifts first. Before he's even consciously aware of it, before he's had the conversation with himself about what this means, his sentences start changing. We should check that restaurant out. We'd love it there. We could do that someday. The future starts getting shared in his speech before it's shared in his heart. Because language is always ahead of awareness. Imagine you're sitting together watching a travel documentary. A beautiful shot of Kyoto comes on screen. And he says, almost offhandedly, we'd love it there, wouldn't we? He didn't rehearse that. He didn't plan to say it. It came out because when he pictured himself in Kyoto, you were already in the picture. He didn't edit you out. He didn't picture himself going alone or with someone else. You were just there, woven into the image of his future without him even deciding to weave you in. That's not a small thing. That's actually a very big thing dressed up as a small thing. Now, here's the important distinction, because I want you to use this wisely and not hear what you want to hear. One we in a single conversation doesn't mean he's buying the ring. What you're listening for is a pattern. You're listening for the moment when we stops being occasional and starts being his default. When talking about the future without you in it seems like the weird option. A man who says we without thinking about it has already made a decision he hasn't announced yet. But here's where it gets interesting. This one is subtle. This one is quiet. But I want you to understand why it might be the most revealing of all three. The phrase is next time. When a man says next time, when he references doing something again with you in the future, he is doing something psychologically profound. He is creating a thread between the present moment and a future he expects to share with you. He is not just enjoying the moment you're in, he is already building continuity. Think about what the alternative looks like. When someone is in your life temporarily, when they're present but not committed, when they're enjoying you but not investing in you, they live in the now. They talk in the now. They say things like, this is amazing, and I'm having such a good time. And that's lovely, that's fine. But notice what's missing. They're not reaching forward. They're not planting flags in your shared future. The man who says next time is doing something different. He's saying, I'm not only here right now, I'm planning to be here again. I'm assuming continuity between us. He's not auditioning for something, he's scheduling. You've just had the most incredible dinner at this tiny Italian place you'd never been to before. The food was perfect, the wine was warm, the conversation was easy. As you're walking out, he turns to you and says, next time we have to try that pasta they were making at the table. Did you see that? He's not just recapping the night. He is already in the next dinner with you. In his mind, there is a next time. He's already there. Or maybe it's smaller than that. You've just finished watching a series together. Credits roll. He stretches and says, right, what are we watching next? Not what should I watch? What are we watching? Next. He's not thinking about the end of the evening, he's thinking about the next one. This matters so much more than I miss you texts, by the way, because anyone can send a thinking of you message in a moment of loneliness. But planning a next time requires a baseline assumption. It requires him to believe that there will be a next time and that it will include you. Next time is a man's quiet way of saying, you are part of what I'm planning, even when I'm not planning. Now, this next one might surprise you because it's the one almost no one talks about. This is the one I want you to sit with, because this one requires a man to do something rare, something that takes a particular kind of love, a love that's not about possession, not about what you do for him, but about who you are as a person and who you are becoming. The phrase is, you'd be good at that, or you should do that thing you mentioned. Or, have you ever thought about going back to that? Or, I think you're capable of more than you're giving yourself credit for. When a man starts actively investing in your growth, when he holds a vision for your potential that sometimes exceeds the vision you hold for yourself, he has moved out of the territory of casual connection and into the territory of real, lasting love. Here's why this is so profound. Men who are not serious about a woman relate to her in the present tense. They enjoy her company. They appreciate what she brings to the moment, but they don't think much about her trajectory, her career, her dreams, her unlived potential, because doing so requires a kind of investment that's only worth making if you're planning to be there to see it unfold. Think about it. If a man genuinely believed this was temporary, if somewhere in the back of his mind he knew he was going to move on, why would he plant seeds in your ambitions? Why would he remember the dream you mentioned 6 months ago and bring it up again? Why would he feel frustration on your behalf when you settle for less than you deserve? He wouldn't, because none of that payoff would ever be his to witness. But when a man is thinking about forever, when he is quietly, privately picturing a life with you, he starts to care deeply about the life you're building, because in his mind, it's also the life he's building with you. Your wins become shared wins. Your growth becomes something he gets to be proud of. Your potential is something he's invested in because he intends to still be there when you reach it. You mentioned it once, maybe in passing over dinner, maybe while half watching television. You talked about something you used to love doing, a business idea you had that never went anywhere, a course you always wanted to take, a creative project you started and abandoned. You said it almost apologetically, the way we do when we half believe in something but don't quite trust it yet. And 3 weeks later, he brings it up. Hey, that thing you mentioned about starting that project, did you ever look into it? He remembered. He not only remembered, he held it. He's been sitting with your dream quietly in the background of his own life, waiting for the right moment to hand it back to you. Because in his mind, your dream matters. Not just because he cares about you as a person, but because he intends to be there when it becomes real. That is a man thinking about forever. Not the fireworks, not the grand speech. This. A quiet man who kept the match lit while you weren't looking. Think about that for a second. Because when was the last time someone held your dream more faithfully than you held it yourself? When was the last time someone saw your potential not as a threat, not as irrelevant, but as something worth protecting. That's not a casual relationship. That's not someone killing time with you. That is a man who has seen your future and decided, without yet saying so out loud, that he wants to be standing next to you in it. A man who invests in who you're becoming is a man who plans to be there when you arrive. Now, let me ask you something honestly. As you've been watching this video, has someone come to mind? Has a face appeared? Has a voice come back to you? A moment, a phrase, something he said that you maybe smiled at and moved on from, but that now, hearing all this, sounds a little different? Because here's what I want you to understand. So many women come to me feeling confused about men, when the truth is, they haven't been receiving unclear signals. They've been receiving unfamiliar ones. They've been waiting for love to look like the version they were sold in movies and romance novels. And in doing so, they've been dismissing the real version standing right in front of them. Love from a good, secure, mature man often doesn't arrive with drama. It arrives consistently. It arrives in a we. It arrives in a next time. It arrives in a man who sits across from you and says, "You know you're capable of more than this, right?" And means it. That is not a small love. That is actually the biggest kind of love there is. The question is, are you ready to receive it? Here's what I want you to take away from this. You came into this video maybe feeling uncertain, maybe feeling like you couldn't read him, like the language of love was this foreign thing that other people seemed to understand intuitively, but kept slipping through your fingers. I hope that today something has shifted, because this was never about learning tricks. This was never about decoding games or reading tea leaves. This was about understanding that love, real love, lasting love, the kind of love that becomes a life, doesn't always announce itself loudly. It announces itself in small, quiet, consistent choices. In the way a man talks about the future. In the way he makes room for you in his language. In the way he reaches back into a conversation from weeks ago and says, "I've been thinking about that dream of yours." You deserve to be someone's we. You deserve to be someone's next time. You deserve a man who sees your potential like it's something precious, something he'd be heartbroken to see go to waste. And if you've been doubting whether you're with a man who feels that way, don't suppress that instinct. Don't silence it with logic or talk yourself into patience. The right man won't make you wonder. He'll make you listen, not anxiously, not desperately, but with the warm, settled knowing of someone who is being genuinely, consistently chosen. Go back to your relationship and listen differently. Not with fear, not with suspicion, with the calm, clear eyes of someone who now knows what to listen for. Notice the we. Feel the weight of next time. And if the man you're with is planting seeds in the soil of your dreams, stay close. That man isn't just passing through your story. He's writing himself into it. This is your moment. Don't waste it. If this video spoke to you, if something in here gave you clarity you didn't have an hour ago, then hit subscribe, because that's exactly the kind of insight we bring you every week. And if you want to go deeper, watch my next video, 5 signs he's protecting his heart and what to do about it. It pairs perfectly with everything we covered today. I'll see you there.